Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabel and this is my library. In today's video, I bring you all the books that I want to read in the month of May. I've started to see recently a lot of my booktube friends calling their TBR piles of possibilities or hopefuls. And I think that is wonderful and reassuring. And I kind of like it because I tend to overplan and my TBR videos tend to include a lot of books, some of which I do get to read, but others that kind of get pushed to the next month. And I kind of like not calling it a TBR. I mean, maybe I could just say TBR to be read at some point or another, even though for right now, they are my plans for what I want to read in May. But yeah, so this is going to include everything that I want to hopefully be able to read in the month of May. The month of May is pretty busy for me. We are wrapping up in school. There's so much stuff. It's so busy. We have so many events at work, getting ready for the summer. So it's kind of like my last month of full work. And yeah, I'm just gonna try to get as much reading as I possibly can get done. And today I'm here to tell you all the things that hopefully I can read. So I'll start off by telling you the things that I have already started reading. So there are a couple things. So one of the things that I'm almost done with is The Picture of Dorian Gray. As you know, I started this last month because it is the last book that I taught my AP students right before their test, which as of when I'm filming this, that was today. So hopefully that went well. But yeah, I'm almost done with The Picture of Dorian Gray. It has taken me a long time. By the way, it is a reread in case you are not familiar with my videos, or you haven't seen my other videos. I've read this many times. It's one of my favorite books of all time. But I'm rereading it as I do every couple years. But it's taken me a long time because it's one of these kinds of reading experiences that I annotate fully, and I'm looking at this version's notes in the back and referencing them and just kind of going through the book in my head. So this is one of those things that I'm almost done reading for this month of May. And I am also a little bit into Tiny Threads by Lilium Rivera, and I am thoroughly enjoying this, guys. This is a book I haven't really heard many people talk about, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm in the first third of the book right now, more or less, but I'm really enjoying it. We are following a main character named Samara who gets a job in the fashion industry, and I'm just really liking the kind of narrative of this book, the imagery. It feels kind of dark. It has like it reminds me a little bit of Mona Wad's writing. I'm also enjoying that she's a Hispanic author, and it is includes a Hispanic main character, so I'm enjoying that as well. But so far, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's she gets Samara gets hired to work with this very famous designer, and she's now a part of their group, and she's met like all of the seamstresses and the designers and people who work in the company, and that's kind of where I am right now in the book. But I'm really enjoying the writing style. I think it's very pretty, and that's Tiny Threads by Lilium Rivera. So another book that I had started already, I'm actually finished with it. I won't tell you much, but I'm actually finished with it. That is The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. This was my buddy read with my husband, so I actually just finished this last night. And yeah, the premise of this is that we are following a king named Roland who has two sons. His two sons are Thomas and Peter. And something happens to Roland, and one of his sons gets blamed for that, and that's all I'll really say. But this was read beginning of the month of May, and so stay tuned. My husband and I will be doing a video where we give you all of our thoughts on this buddy read. So those were the three things that I had already started or have finished as of right now. It's those three books. So everything else is things that I'm looking forward to getting to at some point throughout the month. So I talked to you about this being a buddy read with my husband. I also have two more buddy reads that I am hoping to get through this month. So the first one of those is The Tenant by Freida Mcfadden. So I'm actually doing a buddy read of this with two booktube friends, Dee from the Reading Room and Michelle from Literary Me. I will be reading this with both of them. I'm really excited to get to it. This was actually released, I believe, yesterday, and I got it in the mail yesterday. I had pre ordered it. So, yeah, I'm excited to do that. And we will be hosting a live. The three of us will be doing a live at the ending of the month to talk to you a little bit about our experience reading The Tenant by Freida Mcfadden. We've all had our experiences with Freida Mcfadden books, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this with my booktube friends and sharing all my thoughts of it toward the ending of the month. Just to tell you the premise of this again, you guys know I don't love reading a lot of the summaries or the synopses of the books. I like to go into them blindly, but all I know is that this is a man named Blake and he loses his job or something, so he can't afford to pay for the mortgage and stuff like that. So he finds a tenant who really wants to live with them, and her name is Whitney, and she's supposedly like beautiful and charming and stunning. But then weird things start happening. I don't really know much more. But yeah, I'm excited to get through this one. And these Freida Mcfadden books are quick reads for me. I tend to normally devour them and read them like in a short time. So I'll definitely get through this one quickly. My next buddy read uh, is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I will admit this is very intimidating to me. You guys know I'm not a big historical fiction reader, but I was very curious about reading Kristen Hanna, and so I will be doing a buddy read with Jackie from the Reading Wordsmith, and she and I will be reading this together. She's also another booktuber, and yeah, I'm excited to be able to read this with her and see how I like it, and hopefully I end up loving it. This is a beautiful edition. Look at this edition, guys. Look how beautiful this is. So I'm hoping that I will enjoy it. I believe this is a World War II story and it's following two sisters. So I think I'll like that. I like books about sisters, and I like I'm not a historical fiction fan, but I do like stories about people and small scale stories that are taking place during that time period. I'm okay with that as long as it's mostly about their relationship, their friendship, their journeys, and all of that. So I think I hope I will love it. I know this is a well loved book. Let me know if you've read this and you like it, and if you think I will enjoy it. Because I'm scared, but I'm looking forward to it and branching out a little bit away from my comfort zone. So the next book I'm looking forward to reading is The Unworthy by Agustina Basterrica. And this is from the author of Tender is the Flesh. I also have a special edition of this. Look how beautiful these black pages are. I will be reading this because it is the May selection for the Midnight Society book club, hosted by Reading Riley. And so I will be reading that in order to participate. And I'm really looking forward to this. I believe we are following a nun, and something about her being the unworthy because she is writing like the story of her life and, um, what happens there. But as you know, Agustina Basterica's books are very like jarring and they have a lot of shock value to them. So I'm hoping this one doesn't disappoint. I haven't read too many reviews on this, so I'm not really sure if people are loving it or not. I'm not sure. I know people love Tender is the Flesh, and I enjoyed that. I really like that too. So I'm not really sure, but I'm curious about this one. And this version is also very beautiful. Look at that. This is the Barnes and Noble exclusive. I saw it there and had to pick it up. So the end papers or end sheets are stunning. And I do find all of this like religious kind of context or subtext scary. Like those scary movies that revolve like nunneries and church and all of those kinds of tropes. I do find kind of scary. So I think I will enjoy that. I don't think I've ever read a book like this that follows a nun, and yeah, I'm very curious about this. I think it's very unique. So hopefully I end up liking this one as well. Next, this is a book I've talked to you about before. It was on my TBR last month, but I didn't get to it, so it's carrying over. Tell Me What You Did, by Carter Wilson. And this is the one that we're following the podcaster who interviews people who want to confess things. And the person confesses to having killed their mother. And they're like, that's impossible because, I killed the person that killed my mother. So I've heard great things about this one. People are really liking it, and I'm hoping to get to it. I think it's a very fast read because of the font and the spacing and all of that. So I think this one will be a very quick read, and I have heard great things. So hopefully I can get to it this month. The next thing I hope to get to is The Party by Natasha Preston. So you guys already know my relationship with Natasha Preston. I think all her books have great ideas, a great premise. They tend to be about my favorite tropes, but then they fall flat for me. So hopefully this one proves to be different. So in this one, it's taking place in the English countryside, and a group of friends are gathered in a remote castle for a secret party. Check, check, check. It takes place in England. Remote castle, secret party, and I'm hoping people start dying, which I'm sure this is what's gonna happen here, right? Yeah. Then the first of them dies, and the party turns lethal, and then it says the body count uh continues to rise. So how can this not be great, right? Like, so again, Natasha Preston has such wonderful ideas, and all of her books are appealing to me. This is a beautiful cover. Look at that. I know it's a little bit of a glare, but look how beautiful that is. So I'm hoping I get to give this at least a 4 star, right? And yeah, I'm hoping to get to it this month. So next is a book that is on my list of the 25 books I want to read in 2025. I decided that I need to start purposefully adding them to my TBRs, because if not, I'm not going to get to them. I always wait to see if there's an excuse or a reason to put them on, but the excuse is that I am running behind. I am not doing so well on my 25 and 25. So here it is. And so Graveyard Shift by ML Rio is on my list. I haven't heard the greatest of things, to be honest. I think that's why it's kind of like in the back burner, and I haven't really tried reading it because I haven't heard great reviews on this one. The premise really intrigues me. Basically, it's about a group of 5 people who work in the night shift of a cemetery, I believe, and they have like different, character archetypes: the bartender, a driver, a hotel receptionist, and they all kind of come together, right? Um, and it says that one night they find a hole in the ground of a fresh open grave, but there's not supposed to be a grave there. So all of that, I guess, that happens, deals with that is happening. It's a very short read. It's a novella. I think I'll like it. I hope I will like it. It's an author that I've read from before and I like. I just don't know why it hasn't been getting the best reviews. I also love the cover with that rat and the mushrooms. It looks really good. So hoping to read Graveyard Shift this month. For my Read Christie challenge, I am hoping to read The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. I think this is a really good one that I've never read, so I have very high hopes for this. I believe it's following a serial killer. Yeah, serial killer who's on the loose and he's working his way through the alphabet, killing people accordingly. Like, so it says A is for Mrs. Archer, B is for Betty Barnard, C is for Sir Carmichael Clark. So supposedly, they are killing people according to this. This is a very popular book, The ABC Murders. I honestly thought at some point I had read it, but I have not. I haven't read this one. I don't know. It escapes me. I know there's also some video games that are based on the ABC Murders, so I look forward to maybe reading it and then playing some of the games. I think I own them actually. I think I've purchased the game. I just haven't played it. So um yeah, this is a pretty popular Christie, so I'm hoping it'll be one of the good ones that I have not read yet. Considering that I feel like I've read a lot of her great ones already, so hopefully I get to this one and I enjoy it. So next on my list is my pick for the book club that my best friend and I have together. It's just she and I, and the book that we want to get through this month is The Cabin at the End of the World. And if you've seen some of my other videos or my other content, I've talked about how long this has been on my TBR. This is one of those books that I can't believe I still haven't read. Like, why have I not read this? I haven't watched the movie, even though I'm a big horror movie person, because I have to read the book first. So I don't know what's happened to me. This happens a lot. I mean, can you relate? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below if this happens to you. But when I get really excited about a book, I kind of put it off. I put it off, or I wait for a time that I can sit and read it and calmly annotate and look. I don't know. I feel like I'm just putting it off because I have really high expectations, or I'm waiting for the perfect moment to start it. Does this happen to you guys too? And I just keep wondering, like, why? I've been wanting to read this forever. Like, it's been years and I don't get to it. So in an attempt to help me out like that, my best friend decided that we should make it our next book club pick. We don't really do it monthly. Again, I've told you, sometimes we do 2 books a month, other times it's like 1 book for 2 months. It's kind of like whenever we can read, whenever we can meet up for book club. So we just finished our last one, which I talked about in my wrap up. And so this is the one that's up next. And I just have the highest of expectations for this, because this is a book that I've really been wanting to read for a long, long time. So the next book on my list is The Inheritance by Trisha Saklecha. And I'm reading this as it is one of the picks for the Literary Dead Book Club. And I don't know if this was for last month that I missed it, or if it's for this month. I'm not really sure. But I am planning on reading this. As you know, this is one of my favorite things in books. A trope I really like is an inheritance, or people coming together to read an inheritance or figure out who is inheriting what in the family, and what that does for the dynamics of everyone there. So I know that this is a family reunion that's going to happen, and we meet all the different like family members, the patriarch, businessman, and then we have the matriarch, and then the son and the daughter, and all these different people. And the tagline for this is, most family reunions end in tears, this one will end in murder. um and so, yeah, that's really all I want to know about this one. I think it's going to be thrillery, murder mystery kind of thing, but it feels like it's going to be a locked room mystery. They're all there together to, you know, find out stuff about this inheritance, or maybe for the reading of a will. I'm not really sure. I haven't read the full synopsis. But yeah, I'm excited for this one, as it has a lot of tropes that I really like. So the next book I am planning on reading is part of Reese's book club. So it's the May selection for Reese's book club. I was going to read this no matter what. I always read Emily Henry's books the moment that they come out. And yeah, this is Great Big Beautiful Life. It's, I think, thicker than all of her other books. I've also been hearing that it is different from her other books. There's like a mystery, I think, here to be solved. I'm not really sure, but that's what I've heard. But I must admit, guys, I'm a little concerned because I haven't been hearing the greatest of things. And honestly, Emily Henry is one of those authors that I love. I'm looking now up at her books on my shelf. I have loved all her books. That's a fact. I've loved all of them. They have all been memorable reads. I'm not really sure if they've all been 5 stars, but they have been pretty special books for me. Like, all of them, I think, are top books for me. And I'm not a big romance reader, but she is exclusively one of few uh romance authors that I read all of their works. So I'm excited for this. I believe that this has like the two people, they're trying to interview like some sort of heiress, and they're doing like an article, but they're competing with each other. I think it has something to do with that. And then I heard it pitched um that basically like she's telling one of them one story and telling the other one another story, so the stories don't really like line up, so we don't really know what's true and what's not. I think that's what this is about, and I'm excited. It sounds a little bit different from most of Emily Henry's books, and if it has a mystery that we need to solve or something, I think that's wonderful. So I don't know. Hopefully, I end up loving it. I think she's wonderful. I love her writing. I love her characters, and I love her banter amongst her characters and their conversations and all of that. So I'm thinking I'll love it, regardless of whether or not it ends up being one of my favorites or not. The next book that I want to get to this month is The Wedding People by Alison Espach. And this has been on my list for a little while now. I'm reading this for one of my reading challenges. And The Wedding People, um, I believe, is about a wedding crasher. I believe there's like a wedding that is happening. And then this main character named Phoebe arrives there pretending to be one of the wedding guests, but she's not. And if I'm not mistaken, she's like depressed, or she doesn't really want to live or something like that. I'm not sure. But I think that's kind of what we are dealing with in this book. I've heard great things about this one, so I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's not my typical or normal type of book that I gravitate toward, but I love the cover from the moment I saw it, and I've heard great things. It was also a Read with Jenna pick, so yeah, that's The Wedding People. So the next book on my list is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. And I've had this one for a while. I've been meaning to read this since last year, actually, when I got it for Book of the Month. Yeah, March of 2024. So it came out about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And I've had it on my list since. And it's been on a couple book clubs that I wanted to read it for, and I just never got to it last year. So now I'm reading it for one of my challenges for the blurb game. Amy Tintera blurbed another book I just finished recently. And so I decided to put this onto my TBR for the month. And I've heard really good things about this one, that it's pretty twisty. And we're basically following two friends, Lucy and Savvy, and they're like friends, and they're super popular. But then something happens that, oh, they find one of them like walking the streets with the other one's like blood, and she's being accused for doing this to her, for her murder, I guess. Yeah, I guess one of them dies. Again, not really sure, and again, I don't want to read too much of the synopsis to not ruin it for myself, but I have heard really good things about this one, that it's really twisty. So hopefully I get to it this month. And the last book that is on my list is Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zheng. And this cover, guys, is so cool. So I got this as an aardvark pick, but I also got it and I'm planning on reading it because it is for one of my book clubs. I think this is also for Literally Dead book club. It might be this month's, and I think the other one I talked about was last month's. So it is one of those picks, but I am so intrigued by this one. I really haven't seen anyone reviewing it just yet. The premise is that we're following this woman, Cora Zhang, and she's like a cleaner. She's like a crime scene cleaner. Like she picks up, crime scenes or whatnot. And then she witnesses, I believe, like the tragic killing or murder of her sister. I don't know if I want to read anymore. I don't think I do. And I think this is going to be weird. I think it might be unhinged. I'm not sure, but I like it and I'm excited for it. And I love all these like weird quirky books. uh yeah, I'm excited for this one. It's been blurbed by Paul Tremblay, so I've never read anything by this author before. I'm not sure if this is a debut or not. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I'm very excited for it. It sounds pretty weird. So now that I've shown you everything that I have on my TBR, it's time for my TBR Jar to make its debut in my channel. So from the moment I started this YouTube channel in February, I had already picked from my TBR jar for that month right before I started making content and becoming a content creator. And I had not been able to pull from my TBR jar because I had not really read anything from there. So now I officially finished last month 5 Total Strangers, which was a TBR jar pick. So I normally have like 2 or 3 of those going on at once. And so right now I only have one left, one TBR jar, which is the Tainted Cup. That's what I currently have on there for my TBR jar. So basically this is, I introduced you to my TBR jar, and what I do is, and I'll just pull one to kind of show you, but every single book that I own, you guys know, I think you guys know that, I'm not really sure, but I catalog all my books. So I use an app, Libib, to kind of scan all my books once I buy them, and they become a part of my permanent catalog. And what I do is once every so often I print out all the new books I've acquired, and it lets you actually print out all your little like covers and stuff like that. So this is what they look like. Let me see if I can show you this, like that. So that's what they look like. And then I just kind of cut them. My husband helps me cut and fold. It's not his favorite thing to do. And then I just kind of like fill them in, and these are all of like the things that I currently have. Now there are some things in here that obviously I pick for other reasons. So there might be some things in here that I've already read or are on my TBR for this month already. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pick with you 2 of them, and I'll add them to my TBR for this month, and then I'll go ahead and pick again once I've completed those reads, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Right. So, oh my gosh. So it's Home by Whitney Hansen. And as you guys know, if you follow my channel, I read this. I just read this last month for National Poetry Month. So yay, this one has been read, and so I can go ahead and pick 2 more with you here. So let's do that. Right. So let's go ahead and pick it. Let's see what it is. Okay. I have not read this. This is still on my shelves. And this one is The Cheerleaders by Cara Thomas. So this has been on my TBR for a couple years, and I have not read it. So I think I need to go find it on my shelves. I'll take you on that journey now in a minute. But I need to go find it on my shelves and add it to my TBR. So The Cheerleaders is going on my shelves. I mean, the Cheerleaders is going on my TBR. And then let's go ahead and pick another one. All right, let's see what this is. Ooh, this is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. So I have not read this. So this will now be added to my TBR. So I guess these 2 new books will be added to my TBR for this month. All right. So I'll go ahead now and take you on a little journey to find those. Let's go ahead and find them on my shelves. All right, guys. So I'm taking you to find. First, we need to look on my shelves for The Cheerleaders. Last name is Thomas. And then The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. And that should be in my very small romance section. So I think L's, these are the L's. So Cheerleaders should be here. Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and take out Cheerleaders. All right. And so here it is. The Cheerleaders by Cara Thomas. So this has just gone on my, let me zoom you out a little bit, my TBR because of the TBR jar. Let me go ahead and put this back on my shelf. And now the Christina Lauren book should be, here it is. Okay, perfect. So let me take out these top ones. Again, I don't have the biggest romance section. You guys know I don't read a lot of romance, but yeah, this is my little tiny romance section. So I'll go ahead and fill in this little gap. No, it's not going to fit in there. All right. So here it is, the soulmate equation. And I think this has like a sci-fi-ish kind of vibe, if I'm not mistaken. I remember when I first found out about this, I thought it had to do with, I thought this had to do with like kind of like similar to The One by John Mars. So yeah, I think that's what this one is about. So I'm excited that I pulled those from the TBR jar. And here's like a little glimpse of my shelves. I know some of you have been asking me to give you a tour of these, and I promise I will. I will at some point. I will. All right, guys. So there we have it. Both of these have now been added to the already long stack. And yeah, now that's everything I want to read in the month of May. Well, that was fun. These are all the things that I want to possibly, maybe, hopefully read in the month of May. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'd love to hear, what do you want to read in the month of May? Are you doing any buddy reads? Have you read any of the things that have now come into my TBR for the month of May? Which ones are you more excited for me to read? Are there any you think I'll love? Are there any you think I maybe won't like? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And so, yeah, that pretty much is it for me. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate you being here. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I'd love to continue bringing you more content like this one. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye.